I had something happen to me when I was in my 20s, and I think, if this helps anybody, then good for you. So I'm working at a big retail store chain, and everything was going good. And you know, you take courses, you try to get ahead, and you try to, you know, impress the boss or whatever. When you're young, that's all very important. So I'm working there, and I noticed that the boss, the manager of the store, and who he recently promoted to assistant manager, were like coming out of the bathroom together, and then they were flirting and touching in inappropriate ways. And a couple of times I walked in the back, and they had just finished necking or something. And so, being new at this stuff, I was young. I knew it wasn't right. So I brought it up to the head of the corporation, and there was an investigation. They closed the store down. They brought in these guys in suits and asked everybody a lot of questions. And of course, she denied everything. It was him that forced himself on her and told her that she couldn't work there if she didn't do what she was told. And then his story was the opposite, that she forced himself on her, or on him, and so on and so on and so on. So anyway, in the end, this is what's strange: is a corporation doesn't think like a normal human being. And if you don't believe me, you got to watch the video, The Corporation. And you can see it on YouTube, you can see it on Netflix or whatever. Um, Very good video. It explains the way corporations are, as if you were to look at them as a human being. And as a human being, you would never let them out of a jail. I mean, they're very dangerous, they're psychotic, they're all kinds of things. So, as a human being, I think what you would do if you found out this situation where um, the two of them, which were both married, are messing around together at work. As a human, I think you would just fire the both of them. You wouldn't even care whose fault it was or who did what. Because really, him being a manager ought to know better. And the whole thing could have been stopped right there. First of all, if he ought to know better and he was the instigator, it shouldn't have happened. And if he ought to know better and she was the instigator, then he should have just let her go right there. But anyway, what the corporation did is they didn't fire anybody. So there were 3 stores in this town, and they kept me working with that manager, which was so comfortable. And they moved her to a different store, which was probably uncomfortable for the people in that other store since everybody knew what was going on. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. If I'd have not said anything, what would have happened? Would anything have changed? Would have it gotten so bad that, like, who knows what would have happened? So I think a lot of it had to do with my upbringing. That if I seen something that was that wrong, I had to stop it. I had to try to stop it, and it stopped it. That was for sure. Nobody got divorced in any of this, but I guess the spouses believed their spouse. They believed that, you know, And neither of them were good looking, which really is mind blowing. Because you would think that she would be like amazingly hot to do this stuff, but she was nowhere near, and he wasn't either. So, um, would I do things different? Probably not. You know, um, and I don't think wherever you go, and big companies or whatever, this stuff happens. You know, I know for a fact that a company that I know, a manager got caught by security having sex with somebody in a boardroom. And I guess because his father was really high up, they they didn't do anything about it. Just brushed it underneath the carpet. So if that would have been anybody else, they would have just been let go right there. But like I said, corporations don't work the way normal humans would, right? So you have to be careful. You know, the world's crazy, and you know, you're swimming with the sharks. I mean, you've got to understand what the sharks are attracted to eat something, and what repels the sharks, and what keeps the sharks just happy and ignoring you. So, when you're in that environment and you see something like that, you've got to really go home, think about it, because you're the one in the end who has to live with that. You have to live with your own choices and your own consequences as well. Can you live with that? And I couldn't. So, would I do things different? Probably not. But I slept better at night. You know, I felt I did the right thing. And in the end, you know, the two of them, especially the manager, was was really happy that it all came out, because he claimed he was under a lot of pressure, had a hard time like talking to his wife and such like that. So he was glad that it all came out, and then he didn't have to worry about it anymore. So I don't know. Make your own decisions on this stuff, but that's what happens. Usually corporations don't do anything. I don't know why. A normal business would, but they usually just do nothing at all. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps somebody out there. Bye-bye.